in less than 24 hours from now, the gates of the Sabarimala Temple will be thrown open to women of all ages after a landmark Supreme Court order which recently said that keeping women out was violative of fundamental rights. Until now, women who menstruate were not allowed inside, but the court's order has been far from welcome by many devotees and even political parties. Today, at the main entrance to the temple, many devotees who do not agree with the court ruling are actually stopping cars and buses and trying to persuade women who are inside to follow tradition, quote unquote. But it looks like there could be a showdown tomorrow evening when the gates are finally thrown open, because the protesters seem determined to not allow women to come inside. In fact, temple authorities are not even letting women journalists like my colleague Sneha move ahead as they try to even report this story, because until now, as we said, there had been a complete ban on women of a certain age from going inside. Joining us on the program tonight, we have in the studio with us Supreme Court Advocate Avni Bansal. Here with us also is Yogita Bhayana, who's a women's rights activist. Deepa Easwar is someone who is an activist from Trivandrum and belongs to the Save Sabarimala campaign. And Shaina NC of the BJP also joins us tonight. Avni Bansal, to you first. What is astounding here is, let's look at this first as a legal matter, that here is a Supreme Court ruling. It's a Supreme Court order, and it is being openly defied, and openly calls are being made to defy it in the name of faith and religion.
See, Nidhi, it's an absolute shocker. For one, it's something on which every party is passing the buck, right? So clearly it's for everybody to see that the matter is being politicized. Everybody can also see what are the vested interests on ground. So I think that's something that's open for everyone to see. The question here is that the parties have a legal recourse. They have filed a review petition. Several parties have opposed the court filing a review petition. The question is that why are the parties still insisting on taking law and order in their hands? So when a group of people say that while there is a Supreme Court judgment, when the temple actually opens up tomorrow, we're actually going to physically lie down there, and any woman who wants to enter the temple will have to walk on our chest, are they not clearly responsible for contempt of court? And well, legally the answer is yes, they're responsible for contempt of court. And my second question is that all the women, including our panelist, Deepa Easwar, she's been saying this on other TV channels. Well, if she does this, she's liable for contempt of court. But the second question is that do these people not have faith in the constitution of the country? Do they not have faith in the judiciary of the country? Well, there could be disagreements, there could be issues we could talk about. But is she willing to say on camera that she does not believe in the rule of the land? She does not believe in the Supreme Court verdict. You may have your disagreements, but there are legal recourses that you have to take in this country, because we are democracy. We are not a total Gunda Raj. We can't just play by numbers. Even if there is one woman, Nidhi, who wants to enter the temple, as per Supreme Court, she has the right to. If you have an objection, kindly knock the door, which by the way, you've already done so. So taking law in your hand, I think, is absolutely violative, and that shows one's intention that you're willing to have the numbers on your side and completely make it a Gunda Raj.
Well, these are pictures that Sneha, my colleague there, has just sent us, from near the temple. And as we've been saying, throughout today, there were attempts by devotees, those who are protesting against the Supreme Court order, to prevent women from moving beyond a certain point. They were actually stopping cars, they were stopping taxis, they were stopping all vehicles with women in them, and essentially trying to tell them not to move ahead. And they have promised to actually physically prevent that from happening tomorrow. So it does look like there could be some very ugly scenes tomorrow. Deepa Easwar, is that what you really want, that there should be a showdown over this? At the end of the day, as Avni points out, there is a Supreme Court ruling that is in place. Why is that not being respected?
Yes, I agree that there is a Supreme Court and the verdict has already existed, but this is more about the belief and the faith that has been deep-rooted into us for centuries together against the Supreme Court verdict. Yes, it is not easy to fight the Supreme Court verdict, but at the same time, it is not easy to fight the voice of the masses, the beliefs of the masses. I think this verdict by the Honorable Supreme Court has by far been one of the most insensitive verdicts that has come out in the past, with all due respect to the Supreme Court. So we have taken the legal recourse as well. We have knocked the doors to the Supreme Court for the review petitions. Not 1, 2, but 4 different review petitions have already reached the Supreme Court. But the truth is that the Supreme Court is closed for the puja holidays, and unfortunately, this 10 days of holidays that the court has taken right now is exactly the date at which the temple opens also falls within these holidays. So what we are in a situation, lakhs and lakhs of devotees are in a situation where they are going to see their beliefs being laughed at, and young women who I believe do not have honest devotion towards Ayyappa at Sabarimala entering Sabarimala, making or laughing at our beliefs because they have a Supreme Court verdict at their side. Our beliefs are not something to be experimented with. Now we cannot just sit back and say that okay, so the court is closed. The review petition will take its own sweet time to be taken up by the court. So let's just sit back and let the young women enter and let our beliefs be tarnished, and let's come back and let's take time to see what the final verdict will be. Now this is a belief. This is a belief that young women should not enter the temple for a very specific reason.
But
the
Deepa,
nature of the deity there demands to be
I
eternal celibate state.
I don't think
now,
anyone can grudge anybody.
Like that, we cannot just
I don't think anyone can grudge in a democracy. People are entitled to their beliefs, and certainly there is freedom of religion. People are entitled to practice their religion also. But
so
what is
Deepa?
What is supreme? Is the Constitution of India, is the Supreme Court of India not supreme? I mean, is that what you're trying to say? There is something that is above all of us in this country, and that is our Constitution, that is our Supreme Court.
Then please tell me what happened during Jallikattu. If the Supreme Court is final, please tell me what happened during Jallikattu. If the Supreme Court, if people do not have faith in the Supreme Court and the Constitution, please tell me what happened during Jallikattu.
So you're saying today on this program that you do not have faith in the Constitution?
I did not say that. Please don't put words into my mouth. With all due respect to the Constitution, with all due respect to the Honorable Supreme Court, I firmly believe there needs to be a balance.
But you're violating a Supreme Court order.
And the mass beliefs. There needs to be a balance. Our religion, like Hinduism, where there are diverse schools of thoughts converging together, you cannot have one yardstick, that is the Article 14 of the Constitution, to measure all the different
diverse schools. That's not for you to judge anymore. There's a verdict. There's a Supreme Court verdict. So, you know, and 1 second, Deepa, just another point. I think those women like you who do not want to go into the temple despite the Supreme Court verdict have every right. You are entitled to your belief, and you may not want to go into the temple despite the court order. But how do you have the right to stop other women who do? How is that fair? Because they can if they want to now. So why are you preventing other women from doing that?
I'll tell you why. Because we are not ready to wait because it's our choice. We are ready to wait because we know it's the deity's choice. We are ready to wait because we understand why it is important to wait.
My choice.
So when we have the belief in us, how is it fair for the other young women to just laugh at our beliefs and walk into Sabarimala? So it's
that's not for you to decide. That's not for you to decide. You're imposing yourself on other people. What about the women who are choosing to, who want to go inside? Why are you imposing your views on them?
Nidhi ma'am, this is not about my choice. It's not about a Nidhi's choice. It's not about an Avni's choice. It's not about a Tripti Desai's choice. It is a choice of Lord Ayyappa at Sabarimala, the deity there, who has chosen to be Naishtika Brahmachari when the Pratishtha was established there centuries back.
Okay, so Yogita wants to come in because I am speechless at this point, really.
I really want to understand who decides who the devotee is, you know. I am sitting in Delhi. I can't be a devotee to another state of my country. I can also be a devotee to a Ayyappa temple. I want to go. You just put advisory there, or whatever reasoning you've been giving on the channels that the vibration is high. If you go, you might hurt yourself. You put that advisory. You know how we go to amusement park. It is written there. So if you enter, if you are pregnant, or if you are women menstruating, or whatever A, B, C, D, put that guideline there. It is up to us whether we want to go or not. Don't tell us what to do. Don't threaten us that you will lie down on the floor, that you will not let us enter. You are already instigating a lot of people. You can provoke violence there. You can provoke riots there. You know what you are trying to do? It is not only, you know, they are not only non-believing Supreme Court, they are instigating violence there. So it can become a situation where people might hit each other. There can be a situation people might die there. Understand? Don't do that. This is a negative campaigning. Take a responsibility. Let it happen peacefully. Let people go.
We are just saying that we will lie
You've
down
been
on the road.
campaigning there for last 1 week. You know what you're trying to do? Dividing God, dividing people, dividing genders.
The people who should actually be behaving more responsibly are political parties. In China, NC, unfortunately, pretty much across the board, that is not happening. And it's very obvious that that's for political reasons now, that, parties are taking a sort of a wishy-washy stand on this. Even the BJP, we saw the other day a BJP supporter, a well-known actor, saying that women who go to the temple defying the custom should be ripped apart. I mean, do you endorse that kind of language?
Firstly, Nidhi, ours is a party that has the political will and has taken up for gender equality, whether it's a Shani Shignapur or a Hajeli Dargah, that has the sentiment of public at large, but the women devotees who were participative as a majority. You take a triple talaq, it is a fight for women's dignity, but obviously the criminal aspect needs to be highlighted too, which we always supported. Now, coming to Sabarimala's shrine, we must understand that if women want to worship Lord Ayyappa, there are lots of other temples where they are allowed access and entrance. Now, vis-a-vis the celibacy of the deity, I would only want to give you one kind of an example. Say today a Jain Muni takes Diksha, and there you have men who are allowed to touch that Jain Muni, the women are not. Are you going to change that rule? Are you going to say that because this is a Jain Muni now, because men can touch, even women should be able to touch? Rationale and yardsticks in this diverse country of ours are different at different states and different parameters. All we
should stop listening to the Supreme Court
verdict. Yes, we respect it.
We should stop listening to the Supreme Court.
Stakeholders into cognizance.
Shaina, there are people, tomorrow there are people who could have argued that triple talaq was a good thing.
Both.
There are people who could have argued that triple talaq is a good thing. This is our custom. This is our faith. This is what we believe in. We don't care what the Supreme Court says. You would not endorse that.
Triple talaq here? How can you bring in triple talaq here?
I'm asking her on a principle, Deepa. Let her answer.
Talaq to Sabarimala first, because one is a criminal offence. One is a criminal offence where you're ruining the life of a woman, and the other is access to a place of worship where you have access to other places as well.
So you don't
all we are
have
saying
faith
is
in
take
the
all
Supreme Court.
Stakeholders into
So
cognizance,
you do not
build
have
a
faith
consensus.
in the Is the
as
BJP
part
saying
of the
today
review
it has no
petition,
faith in
if
the
there are
Supreme
women
Court of India?
devotees,
Shaina, is that what the BJP is saying, that you do not have faith in the Supreme Court's verdict?
That is not true, Nidhi. If you're trying to sensationalize my statement, it is your
then
call.
Then why not file
I
a
have
review
made
petition
a
in the
statement
court
on
and do it
behalf
legally?
of the women of Kerala who stand on the streets and who express their viewpoint. There is a viewpoint which is about celibacy of the deity. There is
no
a
one
viewpoint
is arguing with
of
viewpoint.
the family that
the question
actually
is should
created
that
Sabarimala
viewpoint be
in terms of
forced
the royal
upon
family
everybody else?
and the public who is present on the streets.
No, but
The
Shaina,
state
one
government
second.
can
The point,
and get
the issue is not a
consensus
viewpoint.
which
If
is
there are
in
women
keeping
who do
with
not
all
want to go to the
stakeholders.
temple, they are perfectly entitled to do that. That is their choice. But there are many women who have expressed a desire to want to go to the temple, and they have been bullied and browbeaten over the past few days for wanting to express that desire. Surely it is their choice when there is a Supreme Court verdict. I just want to go across to my colleague Sneha. We've gotten through to Sneha with great difficulty, and she's joining us live from the spot. Sneha, just describe to us what's happening there, because we got a mail from you a little while ago that even women journalists like you are not being allowed beyond a point.
Well, Nidhi, that is one, that women journalists are not being allowed beyond Nillikal at this point, which is around 18 kilometers from Pamba, and another, say, 6 kilometers uphill trek where Sabarimala Temple is really located. Now, that's one point, but I'm coming to you from a place in Nillikal, and this is where a young woman was roughed up in front of my eyes just few minutes before. So it's really now beyond even choice. It's about a law and order problem which is unfolding right here at Nillikal. And the people are just stopping buses and cars and checking them. These are devotees who are checking buses and cars for young women. This has been happening since morning and it continues. But in just few minutes back, we even saw a woman. She was just surrounded suddenly by several devotees who forced her to retreat. She was pushed around by women devotees. She said she will go back. but that threatening atmosphere clearly continued, where she was roughed up, and she was eventually taken by the police in their vehicle. So that's the kind of scenes we are already talking about. And this is the state government has said, well, there will be nobody who will be sent back. Everybody has the freedom to go ahead. Well, we don't know whether this woman was truly a devotee or not, but she did come to Nilakal and she was threatened and forced in fact to leave, and she had to be saved by the police personnel. So that literally is the situation here. Police in many cases just standing here because even though devotees have no right to be checking buses and cars, but that's what's really been happening since morning. DGP has said that there will be criminal case which will be registered against such people, but nothing really, Nidhi, has happened till now. Nothing of that sort. No criminal cases registered in these cases.
And Sneha, just quickly, what do we expect will happen tomorrow? Because the gates are supposed to be opened up at 5 p.m. tomorrow, right? So what exactly happens then?
Well, Nidhi, there are two important things. One, since 10 in the morning, there are devotees, even petitioner Rahul Easwar, who are going to be starting a hunger protest at Nilakal, Pamba, and several other places like Erimeli, several roads basically which leads to Sabarimala. So that starts tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. They're saying it's a Gandhian way of protest, but law and order already a problem at the base camp where we are here. Secondly, it's at 3 o'clock, around 3 o'clock, that people will be allowed to go uphill. That's the trek which leads to Sabarimala. It's an arduous uphill trek, and devotees will be allowed to take that trek from 3 p.m., around 3 p.m. for the temple, which really opens up at 5 p.m. So it's around 3 p.m. that these protesters are likely to, as they claim, to lie down and to ensure that women devotees who want to go there do not go there. But something that the police is saying is not going to be acceptable. But till now, we're not really seeing signs of devotees being asked to,
and that's an important point, because
really,
I think that only once again reflects how political parties are, sort of hedging their bets on this one, including the ruling party, despite the Chief Minister making contrary noises. So, Sneha, stay safe. Can't believe that one has to tell you that near a temple premises, but unfortunately we do. So do stay safe as you report this story for us all day tomorrow as well.